to the adventure. The adventure is to show and share our culture. Every plant, every animal is our family. They are our ancestors. They live, they grow, so we can live and grow. We are all connected. To connect our mind, body, and soul to the land, we dance. We share the light. We share the land. We share this journey. our country is waiting for you.
Purpose-built as Australia's capital city, Canberra is a 3-hour drive from both the snowy mountains and the beautiful beaches of New South Wales. It's a city which honours Australia's past and shapes its future. With an expansive bush beauty, a relaxed attitude and colourful events, Canberra is far more than a political capital. Designed for a young nation that was just finding its feet, this city is home to many of the country's most important stories. Stories that have come to define what it means to be Australian. At the heart of Canberra's creation story is Lake Burley Griffin. A long-standing rivalry between Sydney and Melbourne meant that neither one could beat the nation's capital. Instead, in 1911, the government launched an international design competition seeking a master plan for a brand new city. The victor, Chicago architect Walter Burley Griffin, won with a garden city design focused on a man-made lake which fits perfectly within the landscape. To understand the genius of the design, head to the lookout at Mount Ainslie, just a short drive from the centre of town. The shores of Lake Burley Griffin are home to the Parliamentary Triangle, a precinct filled with some of Australia's most significant buildings that weave together Australia's stories. Parliament House is a national icon that is instantly recognisable to all Australians. Like the city itself, its design was the winner of an international competition. Although the centre of political power in Australia, its approach to welcoming visitors is relaxed. Take a tour and see history as it happens, and then head up to the lawn-covered roof for sweeping views. Just a short stroll away is Old Parliament House. The corridors of this beloved building are a time capsule of some of Australia's most pivotal moments. Walk into the Prime Minister's office, which looks exactly as it did the day the government moved buildings in 1988. The building that houses the National Museum of Australia was designed around the theme of a jigsaw puzzle, intertwining the many tales of Australia. See a prototype of the Holden, Australia's first locally made car, and the enormous heart of Far Lap, an Australian racehorse that captured the imagination of the entire country. Throughout its history, few characters have captured Australia's imagination like its most infamous outlaw, Ned Kelly. Head to the National Gallery of Australia to see Sydney Nolan's Bushranger series. But for a true glimpse into the very essence of this land, Spend some time amid the astonishing masterpieces of some of the nation's leading Indigenous artists. Visit the National Portrait Gallery to enjoy a stunning collection of portraits of prominent Australians who have risen to the top of their fields. From the talented duo behind the international fashion powerhouse Sass and Bide to Andy Thomas, the country's most famous astronaut, these pictures tell thousands of stories. More incredible stories await at the National Library. See Captain Cook's original diary, which accompanied him on his first historic voyage to Australia. In 1770, Cook claimed this great southern land for England, opening a European chapter in the country's history. A little over 100 years later, the Commonwealth of Australia was established. At certain times of the year, the National Archives of Australia display the original Constitution, signed by Queen Victoria. Perhaps the most powerful monument in this city of stories is the Australian War Memorial, a symbol of a young nation's courage, sacrifice, and willingness to defend its allies across the oceans. Immerse yourself in the experience of war with a seamless blend of technology and storytelling. With wall-sized touchscreens and surround sound, the heroic deeds that established Australia on the world stage come alive here. See a bullet-riddled landing boat from Gallipoli, the campaign that gave birth to the Anzac legend. Experience a powerful reenactment of a bombing raid over Berlin featuring G for George, a World War II Lancaster bomber. Stand before the eternal flame and the pool of reflection and read the Roll of Honour, a poignant reminder of the tragedies of war. If Canberra is passionate about honouring the nation's history, this young city is also creating new stories of innovation and cool. In inner city suburbs like Braddon, you'll find innovative architecture, hipster coffee shops and microbreweries. If you're travelling with kids, Canberra also has many special things to offer. Step back in time at the National Dinosaur Museum and see the animals that populated the Earth around 150 million years ago. Many of the country's stories have been stamped into its currency. Visit the Royal Australian Mint to see where coins have been made for more than 50 years. The nation's future innovators could easily spend a day enjoying the interactive displays at Questacon, the National Science and Technology Centre. When Burley Griffin designed this city, he included many natural pockets to showcase the spectacular flora created by Canberra's diverse seasons. In autumn, see the city's canopy explode in brilliant reds and oranges from the viewing platform at Telstra Tower. In spring, the whole city celebrates with Floriade, an iconic event that has been going on for almost 30 years. The city's climate is also perfect for grape growing, and there are more than 30 boutique cellar doors on the city's doorstep. Enjoy a glass of wine overlooking this quintessentially Australian landscape. When the nation's Governor-General stood in a dusty paddock in 1913 and announced the name of the new capital, he told the nation that the city had lying before it a splendid destiny. Over 100 years later, that destiny has been fulfilled in a city that preserves the great chapters of Australia's history and continues to write the future pages of the nation's story. Kakadu lies 150 miles east of Darwin, in a region Australians fondly call the Top End. While Canberra might be the seat of the nation's power, Kakadu is one of those few places where you'll discover the country's soul. World Heritage listed Kakadu is a geological, biological and cultural wonderland. It's more than just a national park, it's a national treasure. The Bining and Mungoi people have been caring for this country for over 50,000 years, and today are happy to share parts of their country, knowledge and dreaming with you. A 3-hour drive from Darwin, Kakadu is open year-round, but most visitors come during the dry season, from May to October, when most of the park's roads are open. Just because this is the outback, don't think you have to rough it. There are comfortable hotels and campsites, and visitors centres where you can stock up on supplies, fuel and information. You'll need to set aside a few days to fully explore Kakadu, and once there, the best way to experience the park is by off-road vehicle and on foot. The park has around 25 marked trails, from short walks to multi-day hikes. The walk to Jim Jim Falls is only half a mile, but it's a walk that you'll never forget. Clamber through a lost world of hidden canyons, past waters that mirror the sky, before arriving at an ancient plunge pool surrounded by perfect beaches and 500-foot cliffs. Six miles away is Twin Falls. Here, at the end of a forested gorge, is the sort of place many dream about, but few will ever see. Another great place to cool off is Gunlum Falls. From the campground, hike to the top of the falls for views all the way to far-off Arnhem Land. Then take your pick from a series of crystal clear pools shaded by eucalypts. Kakadu is dotted with thousands of art sites, with some ancient galleries featuring paintings dating back over 20,000 years. Created using local ochres and sometimes even blood, these artworks give an insight into the lives of Aboriginal peoples throughout the centuries. Norlangi Rock was the wet season home to generations of Aboriginal people. Here you'll come face to face with Namagon, the Lightning Man, who every wet season splits open the clouds with his axe, bringing thunder and new life to the country below. A couple of hours' drive to the north are the galleries of Ubir. See paintings of the rainbow serpent, the wildlife and the wetlands below, and above, in impossibly high places, paintings said to be created by Mimi spirits. At the end of the day, climb up to the outlook and wait as Mother Nature paints her own masterpiece across the sky. Another great way to explore Kakadu is by boat. Take a cruise through the park's richest wetlands, the Yellow Water Billabong. Drift across lotus-covered floodplains, past jabiru and magpie geese, and say g'day to the park's most famous residents, the salt and freshwater crocodiles. But to really appreciate the incredible scale and majesty of Kakadu, take to the air. A chartered flight will have you soaring over East Alligator River, Dinosaur Valley, the Magella Wetlands, places untouched by the hands of time. So if you're dreaming of adventure, don't just dream, do it. Come and share the spirit of Kakadu. It's been waiting here since the dawn of time, just for you. Australia's Gold Coast is situated in subtropical Queensland, just an hour's drive from the state capital, Brisbane. It's a fast-growing city of 500,000 people, drawn by the miles of perfect coastline and a sun-drenched lifestyle. The central Gold Coast skyline looks like a gathering of giants wriggling their toes in the warm Pacific. There's a natural spirit here, found in the incredible beaches, the ocean's shifting moods, and the cool waterfalls and deep forests of the hinterland. But there's a human spirit too, dedicated to family, vitality, and having the time of your life. The Gold Coast got its start as a vacation retreat in the 1850s, near its northern end. It's here that the Gold Coast still shines brightest. Surfers Paradise is a complete destination in itself, a glittering resort, shopping and entertainment strip. Head to the Sky Point observation deck to see the Gold Coast's beaches unfurl in a 20-mile ribbon of sand studded with headlands, parks and waterways. Just to the south of Surfers Paradise is Broadbeach, where the pace begins to slow. The further you move down the coast, the more relaxed the vibe. Burleigh Heads is home to a stunning national park and one of Australia's legendary surf breaks. It's easy to see why this headland has been an Aboriginal gathering place for thousands of years. A little further south is Currumbin, a place where the bush meets the beach. Hit the waves between Elephant and Currumbin rocks, or just go for a float in the sparkling serenity of the estuary. Follow the shoreline south to the Gold Coast's most southern beachside neighbourhood, Coolangatta. Just a 5-minute drive from the Gold Coast's international airport, Coolangatta is the region's gateway for most international and interstate visitors. With its shady parks, sheltered beaches and river, Coolangatta is a popular choice for families, and when the conditions are right, it produces some of the most spectacular surf in Australia. The Gold Coast offers plenty of thrills besides its fabulous coastline. It's the theme park capital of Australia. Spend a day riding the waves and water slides at Wet n Wild. Just up the road, cool off and ride the tubes at Dreamworld's Whitewater World. Dreamworld is Australia's largest theme park. It features over 40 rides for all ages and themed lands like Tiger Island. Experience Hollywood on the Gold Coast at Warner Brothers Movie World. Strap yourself in and take off on some of the best roller coasters down under. Then buckle up for the Hollywood Stunt Driver Show. Next door at the Australian Outback Spectacular, saddle up to a 3-course meal as some of the country's best horsemen and women celebrate the spirit of the bush. At SeaWorld, celebrate the spirit of the ocean with some of the sea's most endearing creatures, and a few of the less cuddly ones too. There's also plenty of rides to explore between the shows. If you're feeling the need to settle the nerves after all those theme parks, head for the hills. Just a 30-minute drive inland and perched high on the rim of an ancient volcano is Mount Tamborine. Explore the rainforest trails and skywalk before sampling the local produce and wines at Tamborine Village. A little further south is Springbrook, a World Heritage listed national park filled with ancient forests, secret places and waterfalls that have been flowing since the dawn of time. From up here, high on the escarpment, the Gold Coast beckons. Back to the sand, back to the rides, and back to the spirit of Australia's favourite beach destination. Across the Indian Ocean, or the vast Australian desert, is Perth, a modern city of nearly 2 million people. The capital of Western Australia follows the Swan River from the port of Fremantle to its source in the Darling Range. Perth's remoteness gives the city a unique feel, and many say this is Australia's friendliest metropolis. The sunny, clean city is also among the most livable cities in the world. The surrounding nature and wealth of mineral resources attracts people from all corners of the globe. Some say the best thing about Perth is its coastline, with its pristine beaches and clear water. Others head straight for the delicious food and wine in the Swan Valley. In between is the compact city centre, with beautiful parks and fun attractions. Perth's cityscape shows a mix of styles, from towering Art Deco to the cosy, Tudor-inspired London court. Modern glass offices and limestone facades reflect the sky and the earth, as well as the future and the past. For a bird's eye view of it all, make your way to the top of the iconic Swan Bell Tower. Nearby Kings Park is where the first explorers found a natural spring and is still a place for discovery. You could spend all day in this inner city haven, which is larger than New York Central Park. Walk through the Botanic Gardens and pause at monuments and remarkable trees. Browse the Downtown Art Gallery of Western Australia to witness the development of the state through art. From the early days of farming and wool trade to the establishment of the Swan River Colony in 1829. Soon after settlement, the state's first botanists started to grow grapes on the water's edge, and Western Australia is now a world-famous wine region. Take a day trip out to the Swan Valley if you have a nose for quality produce. The area is full of boutique wineries, so take your time to find your preferred Chardonnay or Pinot Noir. Many of the early farmers caught gold fever in the late 19th century. Tour the Royal Mint to see the largest gold coin ever made and admire some of the greatest gold nuggets from the region. Crikey, imagine finding that! Perth's present-day treasure is Cottesloe Beach, and the best thing is, it's right on the city's doorstep. Rent a board and join the locals on the perfect waves. Visit the Western Australian Museum to learn about the state's archaeological treasures and amazing marine environment. See the real thing in the aquarium at Hillary's Boat Harbour. Just outside, the Sorrento Quay Boardwalk is a great place for a sunset dinner. From the harbour or the barracks downtown, take the ferry to Rottnest Island. Rotto has long been the favourite weekend getaway for Perth's city dwellers. Snorkel in the warm Indian Ocean and walk along the stunning coastline. Keep your camera ready for surprising wildlife encounters. Western Australia has plenty of riches to share, and as the state capital, Perth has turned dust into gold. If you love surf, sand and sun, and a little solitude, Perth is waiting to be discovered. The Margaret River region juts out from the southwest coast of Australia into the waters where the Indian and Southern Oceans meet. Mother Nature was in fine form the day she put this place together. The Margaret River region, or Margs as the locals like to call it, is a place of abundance. It's a playground, a place of stunning beaches and over 50 world-class surf spots. It's a pantry, a place that wherever you go, something delicious is being put before you. It's a garden, where ancient karri forests give way to coastal heath carpeted with thousands of species of wildflowers. The Margaret River region runs down the Western Australian coastline for over 80 miles and stretches inland for a further 20. And the best way to explore this remote region is by car. A good place to break the 3.5-hour drive down from Perth is in Bunbury, whose fabulous beaches, lighthouse and laid-back lifestyle are just a taster for what lies ahead. A further 40 minutes down the highway is Busselton, the gateway to the Margaret River region. Busselton's jewel is her wooden jetty, the longest of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere. First constructed in 1865, the jetty has endured fires and cyclones and is today one of Australia's most unique dive sites. At the jetty's far end, take the 26-foot descent to the underwater observatory and experience the aquatic life that thrives amid the jetty's pylons. Busselton marks the beginning of one of Australia's most scenic drives, Caves Road, which gets its name from the incredible limestone caves which honeycomb the region. One of the most accessible is Mammoth Cave. Descending through lush forest, leave the sound of bird life behind and enter a silent, subterranean world below. Caves Road winds inland through picturesque villages and historic timber towns before arriving at the region's main settlement, Margaret River. Even though Caves Road is only 69 miles in length, it could take days to fully explore end to end. Each village, each farm gate invites you to slow down, stop, and taste all this region has to offer. There are beers brewed with pure rainwater, ice creams and cheeses courtesy of the most contented cows you're ever likely to see, and olive oils and preserves crafted with passion and love. But it all comes together, the climate, the soils, the people, in the wines. Surrounded by coasts on 3 sides and enjoying virtually rain-free summers, as a wine-growing region, Margaret River has been compared to France's famous Bordeaux region. Margaret River's first vineyards were planted in the mid-1960s, just yesterday in wine-growing terms. But today, it's home to over 200 wineries. Cruise from cellar door to cellar door, sampling some of the most exciting Chardonnays, Shirazes and Cabernet Sauvignons on the planet. And at wineries like Vas Felix, the region's first, enjoy some of Australia's most innovative and picturesque dining along the way. All along Caves Road are turn-offs to the coast, side roads to places that for decades were only known to local fishermen and surfers. At Margaret River's northern end is Cape Natural East, a headland surrounded by secluded spots like Bunker Bay, Eagle Bay and Meelup Beach. The Cape Natural East Lighthouse looks out over Geograph Bay to the west and south towards Cape Leeuwin. Between June and December, the lookout points around the lighthouse make this cape a fabulous place to spot whales. Cape Natural East marks the start of one of Australia's most beautiful walking trails, the Cape to Cape Track. The track follows beaches and cliff tops and strings together many places which still retain their Aboriginal names. Places like Yallingup, which means place of love, and Borenup, the place of the male dingo. Then there's Hamelin Bay, named in honour of the French explorer who sailed along this coast in 1801, and Provelli, named after the monastery in Crete which gave sanctuary to a local soldier in World War II. The names of these beaches may vary in origin, but one thing unites them all: their ability to nourish and feed the soul. A great way to experience the coastline is to get out on water on a whale-watching cruise. Once hunted to the brink of extinction, today thousands of whales return each year to mate, carve and simply enjoy the warm waters of Margaret River. The Margaret River's southern end is marked by the Cape Leeuwin Lighthouse, where below the waves of the Indian and Southern Oceans meet. Once a team of lighthouse keepers toiled to keep the light burning. Today, you can climb those same stairs to marvel at the views and appreciate how the region has blossomed from one of the wildest and most remote places in Australia to one of the most welcoming. Margaret River is one of those rare destinations that's a feast for all the senses, with tastes, touches, sights and sounds you'll savour for the rest of your days. The capital of the state of Queensland, Brisbane, is located inland from Moreton Bay, between the Sunshine Coast and the Gold Coast. The heart of the hilly city is its river, which snakes from Mount Stanley to the Coral Sea. Queensland is Australia's sunshine state and enjoys a subtropical climate with hot, humid summers and warm, sunny winters. In Brisbane, any time of year is a good time for adventurous outdoor activities along the river or coast. Experience the more relaxing side of Brisbane in the parklands, museums and bars. Brizzy still has the laid-back country feel that is so iconic for the land down under. However, it's Australia's third largest city, houses over 2 million people and is growing fast. Start your tour of the city on Brisbane's biggest hill. Mount Cootha was already visited by the Aboriginal people up to 40,000 years ago, and its name means honey, which they found here in abundance. While you're here, explore the wonders of the Southern Hemisphere in the Planetarium and Brisbane Botanical Gardens, including the Laughing Kookaburra. Oi, what are you laughing at? Feed lorikeets and see iconic Australian wildlife at the nearby Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary. Meet kangaroos, koalas and wombats, and don't miss the animal shows, which demonstrate some real Aussie traditions. Downriver, in the Central Business District, the Queen Street Mall displays all the country's big retail brands. Visit the nearby Brisbane Museum to learn about the mining boom and other events that shape this city. Exhibits show how World Expo 88 led to the transformation of the river's southern bank, the city's favourite backyard, which even has its own beach. Spacious South Bank has many free activities and facilities which attract more than 10 million people every year. Cool off in a lagoon or browse the weekend markets. Join the locals for a beer or visit one of the many prominent museums and theatres. The Wheel of Brisbane overlooks the Cultural Forecourt, a collection of Queensland's major museums and theatres. Meet some prehistoric creatures, admire Indigenous and European modern art, or see a show at the Performing Arts Centre. From the piers at South Bank, take the public ferry downstream to New Farm Park, where the restored powerhouse has become a real institution among art and music lovers. On your way back, hop off at Kangaroo Point to climb the Story Bridge, one of the best spots to watch the sunset over the city. Book your guided tour for mid-afternoon because nightfall comes early in Queensland. Get an early start and jump on the ferry to Moreton Island for a fun day out at the beach. Join a Segway tour along the shore before surfing down a massive sand dune. On a hot day, snorkel around the Tangalooma Wrecks, or if you'd rather stay high and dry, book a helicopter ride instead. Flying over the bay and the Coral Sea, it's clear that Queensland's natural beauty merely starts in Brisbane. 2 hours flight to the north, the Great Barrier Reef is a living national treasure. Brisbane has a wealth of attractions, and you can indulge as much as you like, but in the River City of the North, you're never far from nature, which is free for all to enjoy.
The city of Melbourne is situated in the southern Australian state of Victoria. Opening out like a fan from the shores of Port Phillip Bay, Melbourne is home to over 4 million residents and regularly features in the top rankings of world's most livable cities. Founded on the banks of the Yarra River in 1835, the discovery of gold transformed this faraway settlement into one of the wealthiest cities in the world. Decades of prosperity created a metropolis filled with grand civic buildings, cathedrals, theatres and parks. Wander down the wide avenues of Collins and Burke Streets for old school architecture that'll make your eyes pop. Then hop on a tram. Melbourne has the most extensive streetcar network in the world. No other space in the city says Melbourne like Federation Square. Overlooked by Flinders Street Station and St Paul's Cathedral, Fed Square does what Melbourne does best, artfully blending the elegance of yesteryear with edgy modern design. While you're at Fed Square, grab a ticket to one of Melbourne's hippest museums, the Australian Centre of the Moving Image. At ACMI, discover the rich history of Aussie cinema and explore the interactive possibilities of tomorrow. And don't forget to head underground to the Melbourne Visitor Centre for the lowdown on what's up in Melbourne. Just across the Yarra is Southbank. Check out the public art, shopping and dining, or just hang out with locals and watch the river slide on by. While you're at Southbank, ride the elevator to the 88th floor of the Eureka Tower, named after the famous 18th century miners' rebellion. The 360-degree views from the observation deck are pure gold. Closer to Earth, but just as heavenly, are the artworks and stained glass ceiling at the nearby National Gallery of Victoria. The city's great paintings are not confined to its galleries. Melbourne rates with New York and Berlin as one of the world capitals of street art. Wander the inner city laneways with street art lovers from all over the world. You may even catch an artist at work. If Melbourne has a fragrance, it's the aroma of roasting coffee beans. In this city, great coffee, food and fashion are not luxuries, but the essentials for daily life. Spend a morning exploring the hundreds of stalls at Queen Victoria Market. Sample the region's finest and freshest produce and witness firsthand just how seriously Melburnians take their food. Melbourne can thank its immigrants for developing the city's taste buds. Peek into the lives of the newcomers who helped shape Melbourne's culture at the Immigration Museum. Then taste the cuisines they introduced to Australia in famous food strips like Lygon Street and Ackland Street. Just a short roll from the patisseries of Ackland Street is Luna Park, the Bayside fun fair that's been putting a smile on Melbourne since 1912. Take a ride on one of the world's oldest roller coasters, but be sure to let those pastries settle first. From St Kilda, follow the boardwalk south to where the true giants of Melbourne architecture await, the bathing boxes of Brighton Beach. This row of heritage-listed boxes is one of the most photographed spots down under. When it comes to presentation, Melbourne has the Midas touch. Whether it be in the sharp-looking displays of the Melbourne Museum, the breathtaking exhibits of the city's aquarium, or just life's simpler pleasures. Welcome to Melbourne, where everything is done with style, passion, and a whole lot of cool.
is the capital of the Northern Territory, in a place Australians like to call the top end. Situated at the edge of the Timor Sea, the city is closer to Bali than Australia's other major capitals. Traditionally the home of the Larrakia people, Darwin was settled by Europeans in 1869. The city's isolation has meant that its population has always been low, and that's just the way the locals like it. Darwin is very much a gateway city. It's the gateway to wild outback adventures. It's the gateway to the Aboriginal Dreamtime. And it's the gateway to a relaxed state of mind that you can only appreciate once you're here. On Thursdays and Sundays, half the city gathers at the Mindil Beach markets. Here, the aromas of cuisines from all over the world mix together under the tropical sky, creating the perfect essence of today's multicultural Darwin. At sunset, head down to the beach for the best show in town as the sun dips into the Arafura Sea. Then catch a double feature under the stars at another local institution, the Deck Chair Cinema. But life here hasn't always been this easygoing. During the Second World War, Japanese warplanes dropped more bombs on Darwin than on Pearl Harbor. You can learn more about those dark days and about the city's ongoing military significance at the Defence of Darwin Experience and the Australian Aviation Heritage Centre. At the Darwin Museum and Art Gallery, learn how Darwin was tragically flattened again in 1974, this time by Mother Nature. The museum and art gallery is also the perfect introduction into local cultures and the territory's unique natural environment. While you're here, say hello to Sweetheart, a rogue croc that developed a taste for small aluminium boats before he was finally caught. Sweetheart's much quieter these days, but you can still experience the awesome power of Australia's salt and freshwater crocs at Crocodilus Park. Just a 15-minute drive from Darwin, the park is home to over 1,000 crocs, from hatchlings to adults weighing over half a tonne. But to get close, real close, make tracks to Crocosaurus Cove, right in the heart of the city. Have a go at feeding the crocs, or better still, climb into the cage of death and be lowered into a tank with some of the largest captive salties on the planet. Of course, seeing crocs in captivity is just a little top-end taster. For the best holiday snaps of all, hit the road to adventure. There's over 60 national parks in the Northern Territory, 20 in the Darwin region alone. If you ask a local for their favourite, chances are they'll quietly point you in the direction of Litchfield National Park. Just an hour and a half from Darwin, Litchfield is set around a sandstone plateau, crisscrossed by deep, narrow gorges, filled with monsoon forests and croc-free swimming holes. On your way into the park, stop to check out the magnetic and cathedral termite mounds. And when it's time to cool off, immerse yourself in the pure, refreshing waters of Bewley Rockhole, a series of pools which cascade down the hillside to spectacular Florence Falls. A little further into the park are Tolna and Wangi Falls. Step into the primordial waters and let your worries float away. Then climb into the stone country above and let your spirit drift off into a land that time forgot. But if you want to step further back in time, into a place Australia's Aboriginal people know as the Dreamtime, head to Kakadu. Half the size of Switzerland and home to 1/3 of Australia's bird species and some of the world's oldest art galleries, Kakadu is more than a national park. It's a national treasure. Whether you've explored the outback for a few days or a few months, there comes a time when everyone begins to long for the creature comforts of the city. And this is where Darwin comes into its own. It's the perfect gateway back into the world. And not just any world, but the way the world should be. Big-hearted, relaxed, and forever connected to the rhythms of nature and the human spirit.
G'day, welcome to Qantas. Today you're in safe hands. Thanks, Dale. Give us your attention for the next few minutes and we'll run through some important safety instructions. We'll also show you the real spirit of Australia. Think you've seen it all before? Not like this.
Is different. Today you're flying on a Qantas Airbus A380.
Out here and up there, our seatbelt is your friend. Fasten your seatbelt by inserting the clasp into the buckle. Tighten by pulling the strap. You can undo your seatbelt by lifting the flap. You'll want to keep it done up low and tight during takeoffs, landing, and whenever the seatbelt sign is on. That includes infants and children. While seated at other times, we recommend you keep your seatbelt fastened.
If oxygen is required, a mask will drop from above. Pull it down firmly to activate the oxygen. Put it on quickly and tighten the strap. Oxygen will flow without the bag inflating. Fix your own mask first and then help others.
Your seat has a life jacket under it, next to it, or in the leg rest.
Remove your life jacket from the pouch by pulling the tab. Put it over your head, pass the strap around your waist, clip at the front, then tighten. There's a red tag and mouthpiece for inflation, and a whistle and light. Make sure you only inflate your life jacket after you leave the aircraft.
In the unlikely event of an emergency, make sure you're familiar with the brace position. If you can reach the seat in front, brace by folding your arms on the back of the seat and rest your forehead on your arms. If you can't reach the seat in front of you, lean as far forward as you can and hold on to your legs. If your seat has a sash belt, sit upright, place your hands on your legs and bring your chin to your chest.
Take a moment to locate your exit as the cabin crew point them out. It might be behind you.
To remember your nearest exit, count the rows between you and that exit.
Lights will guide you to your exit. Your crew members are pointing them out now.
Your aircraft has escape slides and life rafts which the crew will operate in an emergency.
If you have to evacuate, leave all items behind.
There are some great places to smoke in the world, but an aeroplane isn't one of them. Qantas aircraft are fitted with smoke detectors, included in the toilets. So there's no smoke until you're back on the ground and out of the airport. This includes e-cigarettes.
Before we get underway, make sure all your bags are either in the overhead locker or under the seat in front of you.
If you have electronic devices, be sure to turn them to flight mode before you take off. And if you lose your electronic device at any time, please avoid moving your seat. Just call a crew member.
Before takeoff, ensure your seat back is upright and your tray table is stowed. And if you missed any of this, it's on your safety card in your seat pocket.
Your Qantas magazine has a health and safety section with important information on deep vein thrombosis, or DVT, including precautions and recommended exercises.
The crew is here to look after you, so follow their instructions at all times. Now make yourself at home and have a great flight.
First Class Travel presents Australia's Private Islands. Australia is full of many stunning secluded islands. Some host high-end luxury resorts, while others offer the chance to get back to nature in picturesque, tranquil, peaceful environments. Haggerston Island, Queensland. Set on 42 hectares, surrounded by the pristine, peaceful waters and forest of Great Barrier Reef Marine Park, it features 5 handcrafted private escapes blending perfectly into the rustic forest, all with uninterrupted views. Lizard Island is located off the coast of Cooktown in far north Queensland. Framed by the corals of the Great Barrier Reef and fringed with idyllic beaches and mangroves, this private island is a truly unique, spectacular holiday destination. Badara Island, Queensland. The height of luxury, this all-inclusive resort features 11 private villas, all nestled in the rainforest and enjoying spectacular ocean views. Each villa has either plunge pools, outdoor private rainforest bathrooms, and expansive decks, or is located at the water's edge. Orpheus Island is an unspoilt tropical paradise surrounded by more than 1,000 hectares of national park and pristine fringing reef stretching across an expansive turquoise coastline. With only 14 retreats, suites and villas, Orpheus Island Lodge offers seclusion and privacy. The first solar-powered resort in the Whitsundays, Elysian Retreat is a private cove with a rocky beach, surrounded by rainforest and all the magnificence of the Great Barrier Reef. This all-inclusive resort on Long Island is separated from other resorts by 5 kilometres of thick rainforest, so you can relax in seclusion and enjoy yoga classes or a dip in the magnesium pool. the ultimate island castaway experience, Wilson Island is the perfect place to relax, recharge and unwind. A tiny island set in a secluded coral cay on the Great Barrier Reef, offering peace and tranquility with its pristine waters teeming with marine life. Featuring 9 permanent reef safari tents, offering privacy and seclusion. Heron Island is known for its green turtle and loggerhead turtle experiences. Watch the hatchlings emerge down the beach or the giant turtles lay their eggs, October through March. Heron Island caters to all levels of marine enthusiasts, with 20 dive sites easily accessible by boat within minutes of the jetty. A nature lover's dream, Heron Island is also home to migrating whales and is a breeding sanctuary for an abundance of bird life. Richard Branson's private island, Makepeace Island, combines modern contemporary living with traditional tropical island design. The resort can accommodate up to 20 in 3 oversized luxury villas, 4 spacious rooms in the island house, and a unique boathouse. Each room and villa have been designed for privacy, comfort, and relaxation. Satellite Island is a unique destination with sheer cliffs and pristine waters teeming with shellfish, oysters, and other marine delights. Never before open to the public, Satellite Island is rugged and unspoiled, with fantastic 360-degree views of this spectacular wilderness, native bush, sheer cliffs, and pebbly beaches. Satellite Island provides the perfect private hideaway.
How can the colour blue be a feeling? Well, it's hard to describe, but it is. You see, it's different down here. The air just has more life in it. Sounds touch you, and the light fills you up somehow. Yeah, it's a place that stays with you. And sometimes, if you're lucky, it stays forever. That's why there's nothing like it.
It's like love, cleanse your soul, feel it in your veins, breathe it in, your lungs will stay. It's like love, for the first time, it'll all make sense. You know it.
Australia isn't just a place you see, it's a place you feel.
And we're live in 3, 2, 1.
This year's been tough and confusing, but progress is moving.
Well, at glacial pace. Sorry.
But all of Australia loves you, and we'll never judge you.
You just need some space.
When you need an end to what ails you,
Call your friends in Australia.
A pal to rely on
A shoulder to cry on.
In Australia.
We can turn off the news. You can kick off your shoes. We'll play backyard cricket.
Get ready to lose!
So throw in the towel. You can use one of ours. We speak your language.
Except for the vowels.
Yes, we know you love your fish and chips and your curries.
But hey, that's no worries.
Good crops guaranteed.
Negotiating tricky trade deals is a shocker.
But look, there's a quokka, and that's what you need. A quokka is really what you need. Glorious United Kingdom. Lean on your wingmen and women. We'll clear your head.
And sausage and bread.
We'll go to the beach.
Then tuck you in bed.
Don't bite your nails to the cuticles. And with impressive marsupials. Helping the mates is a national trait in Australia. Yes! When everything's a test. Call your besties across the ocean. Sisters and brothers.
We know you think you're above us.
But deep down you love us.
You just repress emotion.
But we'll put you right. Have another flag white.
Go grab your cozies.
Your cozies, your Aussies tonight. Calling all pumps. Keep calm, carry on in Australia.
So see you soon then, yeah?